One can never know the truth of a marriage hiding behind closed doors. Beware indeed, blushing newlyweds, you know not the future that awaits. Will there be hardships or indignity? Or will one's future see the rarest accomplishment of all, a true love match? Only two things will tell, time and these authors. We are the Sisters Sanditon, and the time has come to say goodbye. Yes, it is episode 8, the final episode of Bridgerton, and the final ball of the season.
Yes, and as we have donned our ball gowns, you can see. London's various marriages are in disarray as we settled upon Daphne and Simon, who are having their portraits painted, as most highborn families did. Now, they are miles apart in every sense of the word, right? He says he wants to leave immediately. She says, no, you must stay until the end of the season and leave with the rest of the ton, or everyone will talk.
Yes.
And she says, we have a ball to throw. You have to be there pretty much. I'll be there. I'm giving the ball. And she says, this time next week, our ruse will be well and truly over. It's so sad.
Yes, it's very cold, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, and in fact, the painter says, this is not working. Place your hand on her shoulder, right? So you can look as happy as you both must be.
If he only knew.
They look at each other longingly, though, for a moment. Did you notice that in the painter sees? And what does he say? My word, the very picture of devotion.
Yes.
And then they both turn away and look cold again.
Yes.
Right?
It's so sad. They're so close. They want each other so much that they just... Well, back at Bridgerton House, Eloise is questioning Benedict about his GF, his girlfriend.
Yes.
And she suspects her to be Lady Whistledown, right? And she says, be careful. He asks, why are you saying this? Is she not upper crust enough?
Right.
That's not the real reason. She's looking out for him because...
And Anthony is there, and he's reading about Sienna in the paper. Right?
Yes.
And we hear that long-lost Francesca's finally coming home.
Yes, the little
Lord
sister.
knows what she's been up to in Bath. Must have been very important, though, because she missed her sister's wedding.
Yes.
And in fact, the mother said, Francesca's missed so much. What with Daphne and the Duke and Anthony and...
Was she going to say Sienna?
I was a little confused at that part.
I don't know.
Did she mean... that wasn't talked about, what happened with Anthony and Sienna.
Right.
So why is she acting like that was
It
news?
wasn't like a family...
Missed?
Yeah, it wasn't like a family scandal or anything.
I didn't really understand.
I'm not sure. Well, back at the Feathering House, Marina is feeling better, and she thinks the tea has done its job.
Yes.
She apologizes to Penn for everything. She's quite sweet, and she
they
says
have a good moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she says, you were right about Colin. He is a good man.
Yes.
And one day he will see how good you are to him, which may be foreshadowing.
Yes.
When we see Colin's season, perhaps he and
so.
Penn. For those of you who read the books, you probably know.
Yes. Daphne tells Mom at the market that her and Dukey boy are done, right?
Yes.
And Mom says you should forgive and move on,
right?
But Daphne says that the Duke's grudge will not allow them to be happy and move forward.
There's
and
just,
they run into Lady Featherington, right? And she's bemoaning the fact that her girls aren't invited, right?
Yes,
and
to the ball.
I felt like I saw a more mature Daphne in this episode. Just a little bit more acting like a lady, not a girl.
Being the bigger person in some ways.
And the mother's still mad, but Daphne says, well, I'm sure we can extend you an invitation, And I thought that was...
That was gracious of her. Yes, her mom doesn't agree. So whatever you want, dear. She's not too happy about it.
No.
But they hear, while they're there, that Mr. Crane has called... for Marina. And Daphne recognizes the name, and she's written about...
They all rush back to the house.
They all rush back to the house, and they say, who is it? Well, it's not Sir George. It's Sir George's older brother, and he has a bad news that Sir George has died in battle. Right. Marina runs off in tears, and we see Daphne, again, like you said, a more mature Daphne. She runs off to comfort Marina.
Being a comforter, like an older woman would be to a younger woman.
Right. Well, she is an old married woman now.
Yes. What's that from?
Kitty.
Lydia.
Lydia.
Prejudice. Yes.
Now, I'm an old married woman.
Old married woman.
Yes. All right. Anyway, so Marina is really, really sad. She sees that George was writing a letter to me when he died, and he was telling me that he loved me and that we were going to be together and run away together and care for our child together. So she was very heartbroken. She said, I had thought him a villain this whole time, but I was wrong.
And she does a great job of acting here.
It's beautiful.
An amazing job.
Yes.
Although I did think the snot was a little much.
There was a lot of snot. Have they ever just a little sniff? That's all.
Maybe they gave them onions before they did it or something.
I don't know.
But anyway, too much snot.
Yes, but I think too much snot. But I think that Daphne here is thinking about possibly maybe her Duke is not such a villain, that she has made him out to be.
You see her face and she's thinking of her own
still,
situation.
Yes, she's still comparing their relationship to hers.
Yes, well, the incomparable Eloise has made her way to the modiste.
Yes.
And she mentioned that the Featheringtons were really hurt by Lady Whistledown. And Benedict is standing there in the back because he's obviously been there overnight or whatever.
Yes.
And Eloise is basically saying Lady Whistledown should think twice about writing evil things about her paying customers. Which
basically
I agree
telling
with,
her,
right?
yes, because she,
Yes, or so we think, right?
Yes. Lady Whistledown's, or we think she's Lady Whistledown, but we just don't know yet.
Eloise says that the Queen is mad and Lady Whistledown better change her ways.
Yes.
And we leave it at that.
Right. And lots of ladies and gents now are at the next scene at that boxing match, the big match between Will and some other such big, huge, he's around the continent. He's famous around the continent. He's a big wig. And Will decides to throw the match.
I would have done the same thing if I was him.
Well, he's saving his family's life. He knew he was kind of on the tail end of his career.
That's got to come first, right?
Well, yes. And so Mr. Featherington has made a deal with these lowlifes that, he's placed a bet and he has
to get the deed into the house.
Against
not a wise idea.
No,
correct?
Not quite.
But guess who shows up? Sienna, making eyes at Anthony again, right? And they play whist.
Oh dear.
Again.
I think it's like under the stage, under the boxing ring. They're down there.
Does anyone else see their relationship as tawdry? I do. But I
mean, he claims to love her, but it's.
But
no, I don't know.
I must admit, he's not too shabby.
No, I would not mind seeing him as the next leading man in the next Bridgerton episode. And I will admit,
see him as the leading man of the period.
I will make an admission of my own. I was quite taken with him at the beginning, and I had a little crush on him, probably more so than Simon.
Did you really?
Don't hate me. Simon is a very handsome man. Yes, Anthony is for me.
Oh, so Anthony
is
your type,
yes.
Huh?
Did you see how long he had this long hair? I wanted to run my fingers through it.
Oh dear.
Oh well. Yummy, as we like to say.
Oh dear. Will loses the match, and Lord Featherington is thrilled, of course.
Yes.
I won! He finally won something, right?
Yes.
And Simon knows that Will threw the match, right? He tells him, if you needed money, you should have come to me.
Well, why didn't he? That's a good point.
That is a good point. Why didn't he give him money if he's been struggling all this time? They've been saying that the whole show. The wife's been saying it.
Will has too much pride. He doesn't want charity.
Yeah, anyway, Simon, he tells Simon, you're angry but not with me, take it somewhere else and do something about it.
Yes.
And the Featheringtons are bemoaning the fact that they have no new dresses to wear at this time.
Yes.
Right? They're going to go to the Hastings Ball and they have no dresses.
Yes.
Now, let me point out here, I do not really see how... Now, I don't know if the ball was that night, 2 days from then, 3 days from then, but it wasn't long.
No.
The modiste, how does she have time to make all of these dresses? Make them all new dresses within a day's time or 2 days.
That's a good question. Yes, especially with the fact that she's spending all her time in the back shop with Benedict during work hours. It's a wonder she gets anything done. I mean, she's not making money playing whist with Benedict.
Right, dear.
Yes.
Quite right.
Anyway,
well,
so
Mr. Crane.
Yes, Mr. Crane comes back a second time, and he has thought about this, and he asks Marina to marry him, which I thought was quite an honourable and gracious thing to do. And she turns him down. What a silly girl!
I was so mad I wanted to slap the girl.
Look, you're pregnant. You're unwed. You have nothing, no money. You've got nowhere to go. She's going to live on the street. A handsome man who is the eldest son, by the way. He will inherit whatever his family's fortune. He's a sir, right? He knew she was
pregnant. The tea has unhinged her mind or something. I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. She said she doesn't love him. Well, she didn't love Colin either, did she? Yet she was going to marry him.
You're so right.
And foist her child onto him.
You're right. Yes.
Well,
you're so right.
Anyway, she denies him, which is just unbelievable.
Yes,
Lady Featherton can't believe it, right?
Yes, and the two Feathering sisters seem to be quite admiring him as he walked out the door.
They do. They look like they would like a piece of him.
If you don't want him, maybe we could take him. Yes. Too bad he didn't
I loved that part.
Yes.
Well, while the Duke is gone, Daphne's at home. She looks through his papers, right, and realizes why he hated his father just so much. And Lady Danbury walks in.
She sees the unopened letters.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
And all the letters.
And Lady Danbury comes in and says, we're supposed to be ready for the ball, and she says she realized I didn't know it was like this, his father demanded perfection in him.
Right.
And Daphne says Simon is nothing like his father, right? And Lady Danbury has a wonderful quote here. She says, at the end of the day, the Duke's triumph was his and his alone. It had to be. And I thought that was a beautiful quote.
Yes. So. Well, Lord Featherington comes home loaded to the gills with money because he has won all this money. Our fortunes are back. We're off to the modiste. That's the first thing we have to do.
Off to the modiste!
Heaven forbid they wear a dress they've already worn,
right? They'll have
new
dresses after all.
Yes.
Hurrah!
Yes.
Well, it is now breakfast time at the Hastings house. We see Daphne's in the breakfast room. And Simon comes in. What are you doing here?
Yes.
Well, I thought we'd have a change of scene today. I'm going to my brother's. Would you like to come along? And they'll think it weird if you don't. So So of course he joins
He
her.
goes, and they have a wonderful day at the Bridgerton house.
They do.
Simon gets along so well with all the children, and she sees him with the children, all her brothers and sisters. Anyway, and Benedict tells Anthony, excuse me, I always want to call him that, that he is in a relationship with Madame Delacroix. And Eloise says, I love her. I love it. She's great. She admires Lady Whistledown, right? She thinks she's Lady Whistledown. And
well, even Anthony says he's happy for them, right?
Anthony says
because of course, where was he last night?
Playing whist with Well, I think he's trying to get back in with her now.
And so
he
judge his brother.
Yeah, you can do what you want, I'll do what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yes.
And Simon is doing the origami with the children.
Yes, and it's so cute. And Daphne sees he would make a good father. Yes. And I think maybe it's helping him to see that he would make a good father. I think so too, yeah. And back at the Featherington house, the girls are so excited to have their new dresses, right? And of course, Penn's is yellow. And Philippa, she says, well, Philippa, maybe you can get Mr. Finch back now that you have your dowry. Did we ever lose it, Mama? She's so clueless.
She's clueless,
She's the one that thought that the baby was hers, was Colin's and Marina. She had no clue.
Well, then Marina feels the baby kick.
Yes, and realizes the tea didn't do its job.
And the doctor comes and informs her that she's still pregnant. Okay.
Yes. So her situation has changed a bit.
Yes.
The reason she didn't take... Exactly. That's right. The reason she didn't accept... Oh, what ninnies we were.
She wasn't pregnant.
The reason we...
Listen, that's what comes of writing 5 episodes in a day.
I'm still thinking about episode 4. Yes. That's the reason she didn't accept him.
But still, even if she wasn't pregnant, she should have accepted him.
I agree. She's still been embroiled in a scandal.
Yes, that was ridiculous.
Yes, she'd
never
never recover.
Him, baby or no
No
baby.
parasol big enough to recover from that sort of scandal.
That's right.
Anyway,
that's
meanwhile, where am I?
The final preparations are being made.
Yes, the final preparations are being made for the ball. Yes. And I love a Lady Whistledown quote here. I'm going to read it. For while those who have been successful in this year's marriage market look forward to flaunting their perfect, joyous unions, others shudder at the thought of spending one last night, before the discerning eyes of the ton. Obviously, Daphne and Simon, right? As they know indeed just what the evening signifies.
Yes.
Right.
Their time is officially up.
Their time is officially up. And for Daphne and Simon, it's
the end
really
of things,
for real, not just your time at the season, the marriage.
Well, Anthony is up to his old tricks again.
Yes.
He's frolicking in Sienna's bed, right? Oh, I'm losing earrings, dear. I shall just take them off.
Dear me, it seems like you've been frolicking. She's playing the part of our dear Sienna.
I'm innocent, dear. I have not been out there doing anything.
That's a bit of miss. All right.
So anyway, Anthony's in the bed, right? And he says he needs to go to the ball. He invites her to come.
Yes. And I thought, if it were me, I would love it. I would jump at the chance to go to
I'm a Viscount and I can do what I want, right?
Yes.
And it seems like maybe he's convinced her.
Yes.
Well, Daphne and Simon are ready for the ball.
They're getting ready for the ball. They come down and they look at their portrait and say, oh, it's a good likeness.
Right.
Simon says, well, I may have a few more grey hairs since then, right?
Yes,
Whatever.
they
make
jokes.
a little bit of a joke, little bit of levity. Daphne says it seems like this... it seems like this was a throwback to the beginning where they were kind of teasing and joking with each other.
I thought the
right?
same thing,
yes.
right? And in fact, remember they were talking about how many balls he'd have to go to, and now they're talking about how many dances they'll have to do.
Yes, they're talking about
how many dances.
So
it's kind of paralleling the beginning of their relationship.
What do they say about the dances? 2 dances will leave our guests terribly unexcited.
Yes.
And he says, well, it's better than the opposite, leaving them overly excited and terribly unruly.
Yes, all this from just watching a dance, I ask you.
It's quite funny. Yes. Well,
they didn't have television back then.
No, that's right. They didn't have anything. Well, they played whist mostly. That's all they did.
So they're laughing together. They're having a good time, right? And she tells him that he was so wonderful with the brother and sister today.
Yes.
And he says, well, children have always loved me. It doesn't mean I want one of my own. Well, that was a little harsh.
Yeah, and they seem like they're about to start talking about that whole situation again, but the guests
are arriving, right? And it's so beautiful, this outdoor ball.
Yes, they choose to have it outdoors.
Did you see kind of all the colors, blues and purples,
yes,
lavenders?
all of the ladies' dresses
and the
were
lights
color
is kind
coordinated.
of blue. Oh, it was
beautiful.
And Will's wife comes in sporting a nice fat diamond necklace.
Well, they got that big paycheck.
That's right.
They're
smart man, right? I'm sure his wife was thrilled.
Yes.
And the Feathertons arrive, and they're in all the wrong colors,
yes,
of course.
As
they're
always.
Still in their shades of yellow and pink, right?
Yes.
And the so-called friends of Lady Featherton ask her, where's your husband? I guess he's still out celebrating. One circumstance that hasn't changed. And we know that that's the case, right?
Yes.
In fact, he's drunk, and he's about to go into a room in a brothel.
Oh, dear.
But instead he walks in, and those slimy gentlemen are there, remember?
The men that he made the bet with.
And there's a nice bottle of poison there.
They obviously know that he has duped them,
right.
and that he knew that the match was rigged. He rigged the match,
exactly.
and so...
Well, also at the ball, we see Penn and Colin.
Yes,
right?
and she, he's saying, "I'm sorry, I should have believed you," and she's like, "No, it's no problem." And as they start talking, Penn's getting up the courage to start telling him how she feels.
Yes.
She's just about to tell him she's in love with him.
Yes.
But he says, "Well, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on some travels. You inspired me to go on all my travel." So now he's leaving,
Yeah,
and that's
all
it.
her hopes
have been dashed.
She goes running out.
She
Poor
runs out in
thing.
tears.
Yeah. And at this moment, Eloise learns from the Queen's right-hand man that they're going to unmask Lady Whistledown tonight.
This very night.
So Eloise finds out about their plan and realizes she must warn Lady Whistledown. This is huge, right?
She admires her too much to let her go under.
Yes.
Not only because of that, she wants Lady Whistledown to undo the wrong she's done to
right.
Penn and the Featheringtons. She must get a
So
retraction.
she sets out to warn her.
Yes,
right?
and at that moment we see Anthony go to pick up Sienna for the ball.
Yes.
But who answers the door but her love,
Right.
her other little fancy man.
She gives him a good spiel about why they shouldn't be together, and he agrees.
Yes. I guess she doesn't want. She wants a man that's going to treat her the way she, that's going to love her for herself.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's ready to let go. Once again, like I said, he's all over the place. He can never make up his mind.
Yes.
Well, anyway, we now find ourselves waiting at the printers, right? Eloise is waiting.
Yes.
She sees Lady Whistledown drive up,
yes.
and at the same time, a henchman is running down the road. So
Yes.
she runs in. It's a trap, right?
It's a trap, leave.
But my question was, the henchman runs up and finds Eloise. Wouldn't his natural thought have been, she's Lady Whistledown?
Yes. How easily she
And
got
he
out of that.
ran back to the Queen and says, I found
that
her.
way. You're
Yeah,
right.
she says
she went
that way.
Oh,
And it's like in the old shows when they're trying to get the crooks. They went that way,
Exactly. That's why
The henchmen aren't too bright, if you ask my opinion.
I agree.
So,
Yes, that was very
I thought
odd.
that was interesting.
Well, yes. Well, back at the ball, Simon and Daphne are playing their roles to perfection, right?
Yes.
She asks Simon if they're still going to separate.
Yes.
Lady D. Excuse me. Lady Danbury.
Yes.
Asks Simon if they're going to separate.
I
can't read all your notes here. There's so many notes in the margin.
She has a heart-to-heart with him, right?
Yes, she has a heart-to-heart.
And she says, pride will cost you everything.
Yes.
And at this same moment, Daphne's mother goes over
and
to
says
her,
the same thing to her.
and they kind of have a heart-to-heart,
You need to reconcile.
right?
Yes.
And she says, your father and I chose to love each other every single day. It's a choice, dearest.
Yes.
One that is never too late to make. And Daphne starts to cry. She says she wishes she could do this, right? And the mother says, you are a Bridgerton, right? There is nothing you cannot do.
That is
and so
special.
Daphne is affected by this.
Yes.
And starts to think, you know what?
Yes.
Maybe I'm not going to just take my whole life and flush it down the toilet, right?
So they start to have their
it's
last...
time for their dance.
Their waltz. Yes.
It looks like an awfully fast waltz, in my opinion.
Or like a polka.
Yes. I don't know. It's a little fast for my opinion.
Well, while they're dancing, the slow motion kicks in.
Yes.
And they're gazing into each other's eyes.
Yup. All eyes are upon them, and it starts to rain.
And it's just beautiful. All the guests start to take cover. He grabs her hand, but she refuses to go. She just stands out there in the rain.
Did you notice those beautiful shots of the rain falling on the grapes and the food and into the champagne glasses and on their picture? And it was
and it's like water is washing away all of the past.
That's right. I think that's what it was supposed to symbolify.
Yes.
Symbolify, is that a word?
Symbol. It was
symbolize,
symbolize and signify. Yes, there you go.
I made a new
It's getting a little bit late, dear. It's past our bedtime.
I made a new one.
Yes. And Lady little Albion and Philippa.
Yes, they start to head back out.
They're like, let's go dance. This will be fine.
Lady Danbury sticks her arm out and says, no, you won't get back.
Lady Danbury takes charge and says, the evening is complete, and we will thank our gracious hosts for such a splendid soiree in the morning. Yes. Now go home.
Yes, and even the Queen obeys her.
Yes, I thought that was a bit far-fetched. And was the Queen ever at a ball before?
I don't know. Well, the Hastings Ball is one not to be missed.
That's
Maybe
true.
it was because it was the final ball of the
season.
I don't know. But, she...
Everyone leaves.
Yes.
Right, so they're alone out in the rain.
And he says, I'm sorry. And at first I thought he meant, I'm sorry for everything, but she says, it's okay, you couldn't control the weather. And I said,
yes.
He hasn't begun to say sorry yet. Not quite.
I think that's what he did mean.
You think?
I think so.
I don't know. I was a little confused.
Well, maybe.
But she tells him she knows why he made the vow to his father, right? Because, of course, she read the letters.
She read all the letters.
And just because something is not perfect does not make it any less worthy of love.
Yes.
That's the quote I underlined.
That is the crux.
Yes.
Yes, and that, I think, is the reason. He has had this complex his whole
and she
life
tells him that
you are not good enough.
Him,
You're not
every
perfect.
Scar, every imperfection. It's a beautiful love speech.
Yes, it is.
They can make a love song out of it.
Yes.
That sounds like a love song. I don't know. I feel like I've heard those words before. But she says, you have to choose. It's up to you. And she walks away.
You can choose to love me as much as I love you. Yes. And the Featheringtons, meanwhile, have arrived home. Everyone's gone, right? And she goes into the entry and
everyone is
very, very sad.
Right?
All the
They're
guests. And she's like, what's going on? And she realizes her husband is dead, right? And she checks in his desk, and all the money is gone. So I guess we take that to mean he had taken all the money with him.
That's what I thought.
And he was going to use it on gambling and on women.
And the brothels.
And and the men killed him,
men took
their money
back.
Right.
Right.
So now she's left with no husband, no protector, and no money.
And she was just talking about redecorating the house, poor dear.
I feel so bad for her. I really do. I really do.
It's a horrible situation
Yes.
all round.
Yes.
Well, back to Simon and Daphne. Simon walks in, right, and into the house now. The ball's done.
Right,
They're wet.
done.
They had to change their clothes.
Yes, she's
in her robe.
Yes.
He comes in with his shirt unbuttoned, looking rather fetching.
Rather fetching. I think it was a little wet, that shirt.
Oh, dear.
A wet white shirt.
Ooh, I hadn't even noticed
Mr.
that.
Darcy.
Oh, my
Yes.
goodness. Well, he says he doesn't want to be alone, but
Yes.
he doesn't know how to be the man that she needs him to be.
And I think that's important. He has finally come to that sort of humble and vulnerable point of saying,
That's right.
I can tell you that I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I am afraid.
And she says, yes, you do. We'll get through this together, and then nothing else will matter.
Yes.
And they engage in a very romantic game of
perhaps
whist.
too much whist. Listen, we have said all along there was too much whist. But at this point, we have to remember some of it was necessary to see what he was doing.
What was happening.
Right, because he was doing something specifically in those times to prevent her from becoming with child.
Exactly.
And so now, at the final moment when they've reconciled, all is going to be
the whist game goes off well.
Yes, and we see, is it going to be different? And it was different.
Yes.
He didn't move away from her.
And so we can all breathe a huge sigh of relief,
yes,
right?
we see everyone.
Oh,
yes,
my goodness. We're seeing everyone leaving now.
Everyone is leaving London. The season is over, right?
Yes.
The season over. Penelope is crying because her father is dead, and Colin is leaving, so she's not too happy.
No.
Eloise is comforting her. She's saying, I saved Lady Whisledown, and now she'll be able to put right what she has done, how she botched this up.
Everything.
Yes. And Pen says, well, the next season will be far more interesting with Lady Whisledown on the loose. I don't know why she thinks it'll be far more interesting.
Because Lady Whisledown's already been on the loose.
She's already been quite interesting.
I didn't understand that quote.
Yes, I wasn't
Maybe I wrote
sure.
it wrong. I don't know.
No, I think that's what she said. I thought the same thing. I thought
it was I didn't really get that.
I don't
know. Marina has a conversation with Lady Featherton, and I love this, right? And she says, how did you do it? How did you survive doing 20 years of marriage, right?
Yes, without love.
And the Lady Featherton's small things, and like little things and babies, in other words, her children, right?
Yes.
They add up. And so she encouraged her. She says, you're strong, maybe stronger than me, and you're going to be all right.
Yes.
And we see Marina has decided to make the wise choice here. I think the wise choice, and marry George's brother.
Yes.
Right?
And I think he's a good man.
I think he is a good man.
And I think she will
learn to love him, and I think they'll be happy. Now, I haven't read the books, so don't tell me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Because I'm going to get those books.
Yes. But we do see that she gets a letter.
Lady Featherton gets that letter, Marina leaves,
and it says,
or she says, tell me
something about
who's the estate going to go to.
Yes,
and we don't know. They don't tell us.
I think, in my personal opinion, Marina is a distant cousin, and I think it's going to go to her side of the family. She's got a father who's still alive.
Crazy.
If it went
Marina
to him,
came back to lord it over them all.
Anyway, we don't know, but
I hadn't thought of that.
No, we don't know. Well, we
haven't thought of it. But that's a good point.
We'll see, maybe.
Right?
Well, someone else is also saying goodbye at this time, and it is Colin, and he's on his way to Europe. He's leaving. He's going off on his travels. We don't know when he'll be back.
Yep. And we hear right at this point that Daphne and Simon are going to stay in London.
Yes.
In their London house a little longer and enjoy themselves.
Yes. I wonder if Sis will be playing some more whist.
Yes, a lot of card playing for those two, I shall think.
Yes,
I
agree.
Anyway, Anthony says that he's ready to find a wife. He's resolute, he's made up his mind,
Bring
and
on season 2.
Yes, please. He says love is not going to play a part in his decision,
Yes.
though. I'm just going to find a goodbye countess and...
Well, he claimed he was in love. He claims he was in love with Sienna, so now he's like, that's only, ruined me. So anyway.
He's ruined for love now.
Yes, right. Well,
because love did not work out for him, I guess.
Right.
But we shall see.
Yes, he fell in love with the wrong woman. Anyway, here is the real kicker. Eloise says to Benedict, give my regards to Madame de la Poire.
Yes.
And he starts explaining, well, she's already left. She's gone on a little trip. And she's like, what? And she's like, well,
she
she left, a few days ago.
Yeah.
And she's putting the pieces together, so
The
wait a
wheels are
minute.
turning, the
She could
flashbacks
not
are
have
coming.
been there in the carriage if she was already out of town.
And she's going,
yes.
What have I done?
She was not Lady Whisledown.
dear.
We see a flashback to who was in the carriage, and who was it but none other
She pulls back
than Pen herself. Lady Whisledown
Which
unmasked.
of you guessed it? Which of you knew it was Pen? I had not a clue.
I thought it was Pen from the beginning.
I cannot believe you thought that.
Because she was a little bit feisty. She'd make fun of, certain people, and she didn't care about the society. She hated, she didn't care about all that stuff.
What was so fun was going back and watching the
Yes.
season again after you knew it was Pen and
Yes.
keeping your eyes open for all the little hints that were dropped.
Yes, like at one point when Simon was walking out, when Daphne was dancing with the Duke or something, and I
Dancing
look
with
back,
the Prince,
Dancing with the Prince, excuse me, and I saw, Lady Whistledown was commenting on, oh, the Duke was not happy. The only person you see, Pen, watches him walk away. No one else is. So there's little subtle things.
And little cutting remarks she would make, or little lies she would tell.
Little lies she would tell,
right?
Yes. And you know how we, yes. But
we also see some holes there, too.
Yes.
When I went back and watched, and Lady Whistledown would comment on something, and I'd say, Pen was not there. For example, she didn't have knowledge of that fact.
Yes. Well, the main reason why, one of the reasons I thought she was, that Pen was Lady Whistledown, because she didn't comment on the Queen's luncheon. You know why? She wasn't invited anymore. She left. So she didn't know what happened at the con. She didn't know. She had no idea.
Yeah, that's a good one. But I thought her knowledge of conjugal relations of marriage.
They have to have their stamina for the honeymoon.
She didn't even know where babies came from.
Yes,
and she has much knowledge of that. So
I do agree. She was very naive, but then what she wrote was not naive in any way. Right. So that was confusing to me.
Well, and then when she was the one to break the news that Daphne was engaged to the Duke.
Yes.
Daphne came in and told her mother.
No one else knew.
That was it.
Yes.
You know.
Well, and I do sort of think, like, after Eloise was so, she wanted, Pen to be happy and have a, chance at life and a marriage and everything and retract and all that. Well, Pen was kind of rude to Daphne. She ruined Daphne's chances of getting a husband.
Oh, that's the other reason why probably
that was her best friend.
That she couldn't get, because she said she would never.
That was the other reason why I said she couldn't get. She said I would never embarrass my family. Yes. And then she sacrificed her own self and her own family to save Colin. I suppose that's the only thing she could do. But
yes, she loved him more than herself.
Yes.
And
and looking back, how Eloise went to Madame Delacroix and was saying, now Lady Whistledown better not do this. And Madame Delacroix was like,
The poor thing was probably clueless. You probably thought she meant the brother standing in the background.
Yes, yes. So there are little hints here.
Yes, well, I couldn't help but think of the quote, the pen is mightier than the sword. And her name, Pen.
That's another telling. Pen, which I actually didn't even
think
about.
You think that would have tipped us off right there. But
Pen.
It didn't, at least in my case.
Yes.
Well, finally, we see Daphne. She has her baby, right? A boy whose name will begin with A.
Which is
and I love the Duke right here. He says, we do have family traditions, do we not?
Like, he's joining a part of their family. He
all
hasn't had a family.
I
so
love
now he gets
that.
Yes.
The little bee is on the windowsill here again.
Father looking in. Yes, yes.
And there you have it, right? All tied up with a neat little bow.
Well,
but I kind of felt a little bit like they just vomited the ending upon us.
Yes.
I felt like they could have dragged it out for longer. I would have been fine seeing that Eloise was wrong about Lady Whistledown and wondering, who is it then?
Yes, yes.
And keep us on the edge of our seats till next season. But instead, they told us, right?
They told us.
And I would have been fine seeing Simon and Daphne engage in a game of whist and leave it there.
Right, and know that they were going to change.
Okay.
Yes.
And
they had that.
But now the honeymoon's over,
she's
for
already
goodness sake.
Yes, she's already had the baby.
We're already on to baby number 1.
Yes.
We know all the fun stops after that.
Yes.
So,
well,
I was a little put out by that. I felt like, save some of it, but maybe they have something else in mind, right? Maybe that was the end of the book.
Yes, well,
I haven't read it, so
I think what I have read is
let us know if you've read it, and if this was the correct ending.
Yes, I think what I have read is that that was supposed to be their story done, and then there will be snippets of flashbacks with Daphne and the Duke in the next one, like little. I don't think they're going to play a major role.
Right.
It's going to move on.
Yes,
Anthony.
So, our dear viewers, our London season has come to a close. Right?
Yes, and all is well for our favourite love match.
That's right. That's what's most important,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes.
But we need not be disappointed that it is over, because Lady Whistledown is not done yet.
No, indeed.
Not even by a long shot,
no.
right?
No.
Season 2 is in the works.
Yes.
And so you can all rest assured that the Sisters Sanditon will be there to take you through each and every episode. We hope you have enjoyed these reviews, and we hope to see you all soon.
Please subscribe, like, tweet, comment, share, follow us on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, are you ready to tackle this beast of an episode?
No, but I'm ready to be done with this marathon of filming that we have put ourselves through this week.
It's kept you quite tongue-tied.
8 episodes in how many days?
3,
4? Writing 8 scripts? Filming 8 episodes? You've just about killed me, dear. I don't want to see your face for about the next 3 months.
Well, don't worry. Thanks to COVID, you won't.
All right, let's hit it.
Your fan is broken, my dear. You've lost a feather.
Oh, dear.
Too many games of whist. We've been fanning ourselves so much this season.
Oh, dear.
She's sweet, and she says you were right about Colin. He is a hood man.
Sorry, typo.
He's from the hood.
Good.
He is a good man.
Good man. I should say and.
And one day he will see how good you are to him.
Yes.
All right, let's try that
Period.
again.
Okay. All right, so Eloise
Yes.
sets out to warn her.
Yes.
You come in here.
Anthony goes to pick up Sienna.
Yes.
She says it would never work because she wants someone who treats her the way she wants to be treated and keeps herself as a nice low-class whore.
No, that's
She'd
not
like
what
to be.
I wrote.
She'd like to remain nice. Why wouldn't she want to go to a nice fancy ball?
That's
I sure as
one way
heck
to
would.
say it. Okay.
Give me the ball gown. I'd like to go to the ball. She's like, no, I don't want someone who wants me to be more than I am. A low-class whore. He loves me for who I am.
Yeah, maybe you should write the script.
Yeah. He doesn't love me. I thought he did.
Here, dear, wipe your nose. Just don't use too much of the toilet paper. There is a shortage, you know. Oh, yes. Wipe it off before it runs into your mouth, dear.
No, I'll just leave it there. It looks better. That would mean Academy Award.
Daphne tells Mom at the market that her and old Dookie boy are done.
Dookie
boy.
Poop. Her old poop boy.
Dookie does not mean poop. Maybe in your world with your toddlers, but not in mine. It was supposed to be a joke. Dookie boy. Okay, fine.
Poop boy.
Never mind.
I would maybe say something else.
Does Dookie mean poop?
I have tears.
I can't even. Turn it off. So we hear that Daphne and Simon are going to stay in London a little longer and enjoy themselves. I suppose a lot of card playing for those two.
Card playing?
Whist. It's only episode 8.
Sorry.
It's been a long night.
Season 2 is in the works, so you can rest assured that the Sisters Sanditon will be there to take you through every juicy episode of the new season. Yes. I'm Alistair Cook from Masterpiece Theatre. Good night.
I like that.
All kinds of weather, we stick together, the same in the rain or sun. Ooh! 2 different faces, but in tight places, we think and we act as one. Those who've seen us know that not a thing could come between us. Many tried to split us up, but no one can. Lord help the mister who comes between me and my sister. And Lord help the sister who comes between me and my man. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Sisters, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Sisters, do-do-do-do-do-do. Sister, don't come between me and my man. Unrehearsed.